Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. My name is Javier Colocha, and representing Young America's Business Trust in this value proposition presentation. Our speaker today is Sandra Ziv. She's with the Meshav in Israel, Director of Marketing. Sandra is completing her master's in philosophy of science and will continue to her doctorate next year. Her research focuses on her philosophy of innovation and startups. She has served as a lecturer and team leader in international entrepreneurship workshops at the Technion Institute of Technology and with Meshav, Carmel Center in Haifa, Israel, in addition to being a regular leader in international workshops on entrepreneurship and political empowerment for women. Previously, she served in a range of senior marketing positions in media and medical devices companies, including Giving Image, Peer Medical, and RealView Image. She currently serves as a strategic marketing consultant for several medical devices companies. And without any further ado, Sandra, you are now a presenter. The floor is yours. Awesome.
Hi everyone. Everyone can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Great. So as you heard, my name is Sandra Ziv, and I've been working as a marketing executive for many years. And but the last 10 years, I've been much more interested in teaching and bringing my experience to the world. So I'm really excited to be working here with YABT, and let's get started. So let's talk about the value propositions. What I say is creating real value for your company. Now, for some of you, this material may be new, and for others, it may be a review. But I hope that everyone can get something from this lecture. I call this lecture Creating Real Value for Your Company because I believe that if your product or service cannot provide a real solution, but is responding to fashion and trends, you may be successful for a short time, but it won't be sustainable. So what exactly is a value proposition? It's a positioning statement that explains the benefits of that you provide, for whom, and how you do it uniquely well. It describes the problem you solve for your target customer and why you're distinctly better than the alternatives. It is the primary reason why a customer should buy from you. This requires you to differentiate your offer from competitors. So your value proposition is a statement that explains how your product uniquely helps a customer solve a problem. It addresses their pain. So let's say, for instance, someone's pain is curly hair. If I have the new magic hairbrush, the way that I address the pain is that my message, my value proposition is that the magic hairbrush straightens hair quickly and easily. So I've adjusted the customer pain. Or it could be a statement that explains how your customer benefits from a product. So if we're talking about Magic Brush, it would be use Magic Brush to save time in the morning. And without using chemicals, you can even use it on children. So in this way, you can see how my product, in one hand, relates to a customer's pain, curly hair, and also I provide customer gain by enabling them to get their hair done quickly and get out to work on time. Unfortunately, many businesses bury their value propositions in kind of buzzwords or slogans, or they don't even decide in advance what their value proposition is at all. So if we say in the end what my value proposition would be for Magic Brush, it would be Magic Brush simply and efficiently straightens curly hair without the need for chemicals. It is the only brush designed for use by children and teens at home. So that's my value proposition. Now we'll understand how I got there. So what is the value proposition? Basically, it's a three-segmented definition. The first segment is your vision for your company and includes your unique selling point. It could be fast, safe, low cost, efficient, and it's always directed at a particular customer. And that is the second segment, your customer segment. Who is your customer? Sometimes it's not always obvious. For instance, in the magic brush, is my customer the parent or is my customer the teen? Or maybe my customer are hair salons, and that all depends. And it could be all three. And for each one, we might have a different value proposition. So we start with the unique benefit for your particular customer, and how you solve that and how you do it is what your benefit is for the customer. Either you solve the problem or you provide a benefit. Either you relate to a customer's pain or you relate to a customer's gain. So if we go back to the magic brush example, we can see that our particular customer could be a child, and the gain is they get to be look nice and look like the other kids. Or it could be for the parent, and the benefit is that they are able to get out of the house early in the morning without having to work with their kids' hairs all morning. So how do you determine your value proposition? Here are the questions you need to ask. What products and services are we offering? What makes your product unique? What value do we deliver to the customer? Which problem are we helping to solve? Customer pain. And which need are we satisfying? Customer gain. Why? That all comes down, your value proposition comes down to one big question. Why should a customer buy from you? Let's look at some potential values that could be relevant for your value proposition. All of these can be relevant. How well you perform, how much money you are saving them. Can it be personalized? Do you get the job done? Maybe you even offer the same product but in a new design. Maybe how many versions of smartphones, for instance? Each one looks for a specific value proposition. This smartphone is faster. This smartphone has a better camera. This smartphone is smaller in size. All of that has to do with the value proposition. Environmentally friendly. Does it save time? Does it relate to someone's tradition or heritage? All of these can be potential values. And you can have a value, as I said before, a different value for each customer segment. Now, this is a very important lesson for you. Most startups fail from a lack of customers, much more than a failure of product development. Product, it can always be developed in the end. The technology will come around, a software engineer will find out how to do it. But if you don't realize who your customers are, no matter how well the product works, how beautiful it looks, how efficient it gets things done, if you haven't designed it with a customer in mind, you haven't done your work properly. So I'd like to look back again now at what I talked about, who are your customers. And there's two ways to going about it. And I said before, you can look at customers' problems, at their pain, or you can look at customer solutions, which is their gain. But what I'd like to put an emphasis on is the pain, because satisfied people are not always aware of what they're missing, customer solutions, but dissatisfied people will always be open to new solutions to solve their pain. So when you're thinking about who your customers are, start looking for a solution to solve a customer's problem, to rid them of their pain, rather than a solution that provides an added solution that gives them a gain. So if we go back to the magic brush example, the pains for our customer with curly hair are many. My hair looks bad, I'm always late for work, or the mom says she's always late for school, I got to go to an expensive salon, the one salon that does the straightening is very expensive, they use a lot of chemicals and chemicals are bad for you, chemicals are also bad for the environment. So those are many of the values that we talk about. What are the customer pains? They're undesired costs and situations. They're risks. They're negative emotions. They are unhealthy. But if we look at the customer gains, these are the benefits the customer expects, the desires they're looking for. It could be positive emotions and cost savings. It could be, so if we're looking at the magic brush example, we say magic brush straightens your hair without chemicals. What are our gains? It's healthy. It can be used on children because there's no chemicals. It saves time in the morning. It's good for the environment. It lets us go on out spontaneously because I don't need to go to get my hair straightened and everything. So these seem very attractive, but I think when you deal with a customer pain, you make a much more effective message. So let's look back and put together a magic brush value proposition. So I've put this together as an easy-to-use electric hairbrush that easily straightens hard-to-manage hair without using chemicals. So let's go back to our three-segmented value proposition. The unique benefits you provide, it's a easy-to-use electric hairbrush that easily straightens hard-to-manage hair. Who is my customer segment? Well, it's for people who have the hard-to-manage hair. I could have added in there for curly or hard-to-manage hair, but I left it in kind of as a underlying message. And how do I do it? How do I solve it? Without the use of chemicals. So this is how I built the value proposition for Magic Brush. So now that you understand exactly what a value, now that I hope you understand exactly what a value proposition is, let's see when you need to use it. Immediately. If we go back to what we've learned about the entrepreneurship way and how a startup comes about, we know that it starts with your routine and an idea that you have triggers you to start thinking. When you get that trigger and you get those ideas, this is when you start thinking of your value proposition. What need am I filling? For whom? What problem am I solving? For whom? What makes me unique? And only then do you start moving forward. You can create the value. It's the #1 thing that determines whether people show further interest in your product. Value, it's the promise. It's a promise to be delivered. It's the primary reason a customer should buy from you. Value is a clear statement that explains how your product solves the customer's problem or improves their situation. It delivers specific benefits, and it tells the ideal customer why they should buy from you and not from the competition. That is what your value is. Have you spent the time and effort? Now that we've come this far, think about your customer. Have you spent the time and effort you need to make sure you have identified that customer? Have you identified them all? If I go back to Magic Brush, here I am thinking it's only for little girls who get up in the morning and have really problematic hair. But maybe there's teenage boys also. Nowadays, there's the metrosexual. Maybe they want to take care of their hair too. That was a customer segment that I didn't deal with at all. As a matter of fact, I might even change the design of my magic brush now that I thought about an additional customer segment. It's a good thing I thought about it before I went manufacturing 10,000 units in some Chinese factory. So you have to define your customer. Who are they? What's their position? What age, how old are they? What sex are they? What role do they play? And how do they buy? Do they buy online? Do they buy only in stores? What's their budget? What matters to them? Is money, environment, time, prestige? And who influences them? What do they read? Who do they listen to? What will my customer look for in a product? So for you to get to really know your customer, think about a day in the life of that customer. Think about how they wake up in the morning. What is their pains? What are they looking for? Do they want to rush out of the house? Do they even care about their hair at all? Do they not work at all? Are they leisure? Do they have a lot of cash to spend? They spend all day in the beauty shop, so they don't even need a magic brush. This will clue you who is your customer. So, in order to talk about our customer, we need to also define who are the customers and what are their pains. And this is how you do that. You think about what could be their pains? What is too costly? What are the other solutions? Why are they underperforming? Maybe they don't have enough features. Maybe it's just too expensive. What are their main difficulties and challenges? Is it even challenge to buy things on the internet? What's keeping your customer awake at night? What are the barriers? Maybe it's too hard to learn. Maybe an electric hairbrush has too many buttons. What makes your customers feel bad? What gets them frustrated? What do they fear? Do they fear the technical, or do they fear looking bad? So let's look at some of the ways we can give gains to customers. How could we give our customers savings? What would make them happy? What outcomes do they expect? Do they expect to get better quality? Are they used to getting better hair straightening in the salon? How do the current solutions delight your customer? Is it the features? Is it the performance? Is it the way it looks? It's the size. And what would make your customer's job or life easier? More technology, less technology. That's how you get to know your customer. And it goes on. What are they looking for? What social consequences do they desire? Does it make them look good? Does it increase their status? How does your customer measure success? Is it performance? Is it cost? And what would increase the likelihood of them adopting a solution? That's the way you learn about your customer. All of these questions will help you define your value propositions. What issues are problems for your customer, or what issues are solutions for your customer? So once you've identified all of these issues, you are ready to craft your value proposition statement. So let's look at, I brought an example that was done together with Mashav, and some of you may have even seen it. We've got the example of Tomapep. Tomapep is a Nigerian food that everyone loves and knows, and it's made out of tomatoes and peppers. Now, there's an issue that there's always, during the season, many tomatoes and peppers, and then when it's out of season, there's no tomatoes and peppers and no Tomapep. So what to do? The student here who was preparing this project, well, first thing they did, they went to find the numbers. They did their research, and they found that in 2010, there was 132,000 metric tons of peppers and tomatoes thrown out. And as you can see, it's increased every year from 2006. And that's a big loss. So our student here started her own company, and it's called Oiseau Blanc Tamapep Enterprise. What is the vision? To produce high-quality tamapep for distinct and palatable traditional dishes. So you can see here, we're getting close to, you see our vision, and she's almost there with her value proposition. Let's see how we put together the value proposition. Here's a nice image of the process that happens. We have in the upper left corner of your screen, you see the peppers and the tomatoes, simply blended. It's put together, it's cooked, it's canned. You see there in the middle, we have all the extras, the wasted tomatoes and peppers. It's then canned. The mom at home can take it out and cook it. It's prepared for the family, and the whole family loves it. A traditional Nigerian dish. So here are some of the value propositions we can see using the Business Canvas model, which some of you might have seen and some of you are familiar with. And even if you're not, you can see how it works. We see the center of our canvas. These are the actual value propositions that our student found for Tamapep. It's ease in home cooking. It's a traditional dish. It's healthy and affordable. It reduces post-harvest losses. It'll be available year-round. It'll provide jobs. And what she's done here on the right is she's also created the customer segments who will enjoy for each one of these value propositions is relevant for certain customer segments. So for instance, year-round availability is great for wholesale resellers. Reducing post-harvest losses is great for the growers. And the consumers get the traditional, the Nigerians, and also the expat Nigerians. They get to have their Tamapep, which they love, anywhere in the world. So now let's look at her value proposition. Oiseau Blanc Tomato Paste Limited makes high-quality Tamapep for Nigerians who like traditional dishes, to make profitable use of excess crops, and to provide year-round, tasty, healthy, and affordable nutrition. So let's break it up here. We see the first third is Oiseau Blanc Tomato Paste makes high-quality Tamapep. That is our vision, and that's the specific product. And the second part, for Nigerians who like traditional dishes, relates to your customer. It's important to identify your customer properly. Here, the customer is very specific. Nigerians who like traditional dishes. And what's the third part of our value proposition? We're solving a problem or providing a benefit. How are they planning to help the customer? By providing year-round, tasty, healthy, and affordable, nutritious food. So there are several gains here for the customer. It relates to national pride, as well as on a personal level. The customer can eat year-round, healthy, affordable, and tasty Tamapep. So you can see how this value proposition was built based on the values that were identified and the customers who were identified. Combined, we have a value proposition. I'd like to give you another example. I've done something a little more modern. So here we have on-the-go mobile travel game. What is it? It's a travel game for smartphones that uses different picture bingo cards. depending on the location. All players have to do is take a photo of the item with their smartphone. The players have to take a photo of the item that appears on their bingo card. They take the photo with their smartphone and place it in its spot. And it can be played remotely or together. The winner is the one who has completed all photos on their card. So let's list some of the value propositions. Fun, easy to play, as many players, family entertainment, keeps children busy, mobile, modern, for the young and old, low cost, easily updated. There's many more values, but I just chose several of them. Let's look at some of the customer gains and pains. And we're not yet defining who our customer is, so let's make them open. Long rides are hard with the family. Children get bored during long rides. Children start complaining. Kids are always on their cell phones and they're not being part of the family. They're never listening. Some of the gains: family entertainment, a way for the family to be together, increases observation. It takes kids away from their social media. It improves photo skills. How about that one? So let's look at the value proposition for the on-the-go mobile travel game. What is the first section? The first third is the vision for the company and includes our unique selling point directed towards a particular customer. So for me, the game is a good way for families to have fun together. I might find that others who travel may also want to play, but this is my vision for families. So we have a mobile game of family fun is my vision, and that's my unique selling proposition. It's a mobile game of family fun. The second third relates to my customer. It's always important to identify your customer. In this case, will my customer be my parents who are buying the game, or the children who will be playing the game? Who benefits the most? Well, I've decided that the parents will be my primary customer at this point, because I really think that parents care more about having family togetherness than children even know that they want. Okay? So we have a mobile game of family fun for your peace of mind and your children's enjoyment. And the third describes how I'm planning to help that customer by either solving a problem or providing a benefit. So I've decided that I will give my customer will be my parents, and how do they get their gain? Well, how do we get it? How do we solve the customer's pain? By providing a peace of mind and giving children's enjoyment during that long journey to grandma's house. So remember, you may have different values for each customer. In this case, the value for the parents is quiet in the back seat, family entertainment, while for the children, it could just be a fun way to pass the boring time. So I have chosen that I want to have family fun, and that was why in my value proposition, I put that as my goal. So let's review. A value proposition answers the question of why a certain customer should buy your product or service. And it should include 3 segments: the unique benefits you provide in your vision for your particular customer segment, and how you intend to solve a problem, the customer pain, or provide a benefit for customer gain. Thank you. That's all for now.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for that informative presentation. Very interesting, honestly. And right now, if there are any questions, it will take a couple of minutes to see if there's any questions from the audience. If not, we can conclude this very interesting webinar. Thank you very much, Sandra, for your time, for being with us and sharing your views on this value proposition with us. So, if there's no any more questions, we will conclude this webinar. And please remember that these sessions are being recorded, and they will be up in our website at ybt.net at YBT Bootcamp. You can search for the video there. It will also be a link on our social media. Please be tuned with all our notifications, and yeah, we will conclude this webinar on value proposition. Thank you very much again, Sandra, for your time, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.